Hey, buddy, it's Maggie Mulhern from Modern Salon. I am here with Georgia Reed, who is with Malibu C Pro. And what is your title?
I am Malibu C Pro educator and artistic team member.
So we're here at the Water Street Studio in New York City doing the coolest shoot using extensions, and you brought 5 fabulous colors. And she said that something, there's a special way to prep extensions so that the color lasts long and that you can apply them properly. So break it down for us. What is step 1?
So just in true Malibu fashion, just like with anything you do in the salon, you want to be able to prep whatever canvas you're working on. And that's true for just extensions also. So before I color, I like to use my Malibu C Blonde Sachet packets. I use those. That's going to get any residual buildup off of the extensions before I apply color. This will alleviate any hollowness, any gaps in color, and just get ready for everything for the color to go on.
Well, I thought it was so interesting because the way you prepped the model, which was the shampoo, the conditioner, and then the final step, you do exactly the same on the extensions. The only thing you do differently is?
The only thing I do different is, well, I start with this, is the undo goo. I use my packet, and then when I'm done, I usually let them air dry about 80%, and then I finish with low heat just to finish them off before I go in with my final color.
And I thought it was so cool for the model, for the third step, you only apply from mids to ends.
Our Illuminate conditioner. That's going to be after you do a prep service. You want to finish with something just to help seal everything down. Our Illuminate's great for that because it's going to add a little bit of shine to the hair also. For my model, I did basically roots to ends, kind of mids to ends I want to keep away for doing extensions, but for the extension, I put it all the way through because I want to seal everything down just to make sure.
But keeping it away from the taped area.
Keeping it away from the tape, yes, because that's where your adhesive is, so you want to be careful with that.
Okay, so she gave me the formulas, which were all really incredibly intense. So why don't we slide this over here and show us how you do the formulations.
So I'm going to give a breakdown, basically kind of how I did my yellow formula. I start with, I'm going to be using the Malibu C concentrate colors as well as Pulp Riot color. So I'm actually going to be using our red and yellow concentrate colors. I'm going to mix up the red in 4 ounces of water first. This is going to be an accent color. This is going to help deepen my formula. So 4 ounces of water, 1 packet. This is a powder and it's activated in water. It's a hybrid color, so it's going to be added to anything to help boost it, enhance it, or shift anything you want.
And we're going to come in a little bit closer to show this. And then you gently shake it, or you really shake it
You
up?
just kind of gently shake it. It's already in a powder. It's going to dissolve pretty well in this water. So I have my red there, and I'm going to use my Pulp Riot lemon. So this is the Pulp Riot lemon. This is their yellow. I like to enhance my formula with the Malibu concentrates just because I feel like it will add a little bit of extra depth and shift my color the way I want. Now I'm going to put a whole packet of our yellow. So the difference is that you can use the powders either straight powder or you can activate them in water if you're using a direct dye. So this is what I like doing. Our yellow is yellow. It's bright. So see how intense that yellow is? Now, my favorite type of yellow is, like what I use on our model, is a little bit deeper mustardy yellow. So this is where the red is going to come in handy. So this is our red. I'm going to start adding drops of our red in here. And you can see it starts taking it more on the orangey side. So more of that like mustardy, deeper color. So that's how you can use those concentrates to shift what you have so that you, say you don't have something in the salon, these are great to incorporate in.
That's amazing. Just a couple drops and you're getting this orange.
A couple drops, yes.
So what you see is what you get.
What you see is what you get. The pure pigments, they're great because they only come in red, yellow, and blue, and those are your primary colors. So you can make any color you want. You have the color wheel right in front of you. So use your creativity and make whatever you need.
Okay, so now we were talking about actually applying it. What about saturation, pressure, tension?
So saturation, you want to be very thorough. So I like to start off with one side. I start up at the top. You want to work this in up at the top where the tape is, because that's where it's going to be the most dense. So you want to work it back and forth and kind of work that color down first. Grab more color, and you're going to work down. And once you get this all on, then you're going to start rotating back and forth. This rotating is going to help flip those strands slightly so you're getting more saturation. So So you're going to work that down. And your ends are going to be a little bit not as dense as the top.
Why?
Just the way the extensions are made. Usually hair's a little bit finer up at the top because this is where everything's grouped together, where that tape is. So it's going to be a little bit more intense up there. Then once you get this side done, you're going to pull this up. And then I like to flip that over.
Well, and look at it. You really did saturate it, but look at, if you see in there,
have some of those hollow spots still. So you're going to work that in up at the top, move it back and forth. Like I said, this is where the most dense part of that extension is. So you're going to want to move that back and forth, rotate it back and forth, and use a generous amount of product. Don't be stingy with the product. You want to be able to have enough that you can get this fully saturated. And where you've seen those hollow spots, make sure to rotate those back and forth. And when the hair starts to kind of clump up like that, move that apart and rotate it back and forth. And then work your way down.
Okay, is there anything magical in the processing?
The processing is going to be whatever your color is. So if you're using a direct dye, you're going to process just as long as you would on normal hair. These are real hair extensions. So,
and that is key, human hair extensions.
Just because that's going to give you the color that you need. If you're using something that's not real hair, sometimes it gets a little tricky.
Okay, so process according to manufacturer's instructions. And then what about rinsing? Is there anything magical in the rinsing, shampooing? What's step?
Rinsing, especially if you're using direct dyes, I like to treat it just like it was normal hair. So I don't like to shampoo it out. I like to rinse it really well. With Pulp Right, since it is conditioner based, it's going to give the hair a nice slip anyway. So I just like rinsing it really, really well and then let those air dry afterwards. No shampooing. You don't really need to condition afterwards. Maybe like a little serum at the ends if you need to before you install them.
And then look at this. The color is as it was in the beginning. The color stays the same. And
Yep.
and
Doesn't
the, you know
oxidize.
and look at this. Very interesting. You did use a lot of color on this one extension.
Yes, yes.
And in preparing the extensions, one thing we forgot to mention, you don't do one extension at a time, shampoo, condition.
Nope, I take a couple at a time. So if I'm doing like a full head and I think I did when I did the models, we had about like 30 some extensions. I take about 4 or 5 and I shampoo those together and I do the whole process that way. So I'm not clumping everything together. So I'm making sure that I'm rinsing thoroughly and I don't have things stuck together. I'm rinsing that shampoo out when I shampoo. I'm rinsing out the Malibu well so that I'm getting a clean canvas.
And then towel dry, let it air dry to 80%, and then finish off with a low iron.
Yes,
A low.
Yeah, just because it is real hair, you want to treat it like it's normal hair also. I just like laying them out to air dry because we're already going to be doing a lot of things, and we did a lot of styling on our model, so that's why I didn't want to use extra heat because I knew when we'd go in and do our styling, we were going to be using hot tools. So I like to kind of keep the integrity of those extensions also.
All right, this is great. Thank you so much. Great tips.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.